Get started at 7:31. Order. Has everyone read the meeting, minutes from the last general meeting?
Yeah, I have.
Any questions, changes?
No, not for me.
If no changes, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as read?
I make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accept the minutes as read. Do we want to start with, well, I guess you have the election of officers for 2016. Or do you want to start with Mike?
Start with Mike.
Mike, cool. Getting back there, I didn't see you. I knew you were here. If you want to go ahead and then give us an update, we have the representative from.
I'll stick around towards the end of the meeting. I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time because I know roads is a pretty hot topic. Listen to me on back.
He'll move. That's good right there.
I know the roads is a pretty hot topic. And again, so I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time. But the main reason why I wanted to come up here was that shortly after I found out that we received the grant funding that's needed in order to resurface Deerhorn and sections of Fallbrook and Fullerton, I ran into John, and John and I had some communication back and forth, and I said that with the holidays, I know that you guys didn't meet, there was going to be a period of time. Unfortunately, that period of time, sometimes there can be rumors, there's going to be a lot of missing communication, a lot of things can happen, and I just wanted to have the opportunity to come here and spread the word, spread a consistent, factual word as to how the project timeline, how things are going to unfold. So that way, you guys can kind of be ambassadors and share the information with everybody that's up here. What I did do, and I'll leave this with you guys, I kind of printed off what's on the website. Kim Flam and I are working on updating the website, that there actually will be a project section to where people will be able to go and click on Kemper Mill Village project, and you'll be able to print this off. You'll be able to see the timeline, and then you'll also be able to see updates. There'll be before photos, there'll be after photos. I'll be updating this on the project thing, trying to work it out to where somebody had an issue, a problem or something like that, they can go on there and post it on there, but probably the easiest way is my email's on here, so we'll be able to just email me directly. I will leave these here, so if anybody wants any information about the project to take with them, take home, take away stuff, they can, by all means, take it with them. I'll just leave everything here, and if for some reason you guys don't want, you can give me a call or whatnot. Basic overview of the project is that it's about a $900,000 project. It is a complete rehabilitation of the curb, the infrastructure, catch basins, some storm sewers, stuff like that. The project limits will be Deerhorn from Elkwood to John Gray. And then we're also going to do the west side of Fallbrook and Fullerton. Now I know, and I'm probably going to field this question probably 100 times, and I understand. People on the other side of Fallbrook and Fullerton are going to say, why isn't our side being done? And the answer to that is two things. One, the west side of Fallbrook and Fullerton, believe it or not, maybe some of you that, I'm not sure how long some of you have lived in this community, the west side was resurfaced 4 years prior to the east side. So that's why you're going to see two different pavement conditions depending on which side of Deerhorn that you're on. I can tell you for a fact that if I would have included the west or the east side of Fallbrook and Fullerton, we would not have scored enough points to get this project funded. It all comes down to pavement condition. And if you drive that area, when you drive Deerhorn and you drive the west side, you drive the west side of Fallbrook and the west side of Fullerton, as Mrs. Fields can tell you, and that is the bottom of that cul-de-sac, and gets all the debris down there. Those are by far the worst. And it's not worth it. It just wasn't worth the risk. So that's the reason why. Again, like I said, the whole skip process, there was a whole lot of there was a whole lot of misinformation that was out there, not miscommunication, but misinformation. And I just wanted to reassure everybody that this project is going to move forward. It is going to happen. It's going to start. We'll get funding at the end of July. Typically, the state will cut us a check and send it to us. Process kind of moves forward to the bidding process at that point. It'll go out for bid around September. It'll be awarded in that October, November by the Board of Trustees. And then it'll be the first project typically for the construction companies in the spring 2017. The other option, and I'm just being upfront with you, the other option would be is that we could try to rush it. As soon as you get the funding, you hurry up, put it out for bid, and you try to get a contract right. Well, most construction companies by August, September already have their schedule already set. So they're trying to squeeze you in at the end. I think the last thing we want to risk is that having a project open, curb partially done, pavement partially done, and then here comes winter, and you've got a whole mess throughout the entire, especially on a street as busy as Deerhorn. Fallbrook, Fullerton maybe not be that much of an issue, but Deerhorn with the school and everything else be pretty significant. So what I can reassure is that next year at this time, we'll be ramping up and getting ready to do that. There'll be letters sent out, there'll be updates to the website. I'll keep you informed. I'm happy to meet with anybody. I'm happy to sit down, talk with anybody. Anybody has any questions about anything, I'm happy to do it. I'll stick around after the meeting. Again, I said I don't want to take a whole bunch of time and answer a whole bunch of questions in front of everybody, but I'll be happy to stick around after the meeting and talk to anybody individually. So, any questions that I can answer about the project, just the project itself? Sure.
Since we did decide to rush the project, what would be the estimated completion date for that?
Well, you'd be looking at December or January. You'd be looking at December of this year, December of 2016 or January of 2017, depending on the weather.
So it's a 4-month, 5-month project?
It probably, yes. Yeah, I think that's pretty good estimate, yes. I will tell you that John Gray, the county is looking to resurface John Gray, and I did have conversations with them in trying to lump the John Gray project in with Deerhorn and that. Unfortunately, they have already teamed up with the city of Fairfield. It's not a skip project, so we tried, it's not gonna happen. Stars weren't just gonna align. Any other questions? All right, good deal. Thank you, I'll stick around. Like I said, I'm interested to listen to the meeting, and if anybody wants to talk to me about roads, I'll be happy to.
I do have
answer
one
your questions.
question, as
Sure.
far as the, while the work's going on, how do traffic flows and like, things like that? or
In the engineer's
any
estimate,
ideas?
there's a specific spot for maintenance of traffic.
Okay.
So the contractor is held accountable that they have to be able to allow traffic through. They're going to have knowledge of the bus and the schools and stuff like that. People will have access to their driveways. There will be times where, because we're doing an all new curb and there'll be, sections of people's aprons that are replaced, there will be times where you're out of your driveway for 48 hours while they replace the curb in front of it. But we try to minimize the inconvenience as much as
Okay.
possible.
Great.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm happy to address any of those concerns as we get closer. You'll get a letter from me saying, if you have any irrigation system, if you have any landscaping things that are out by the curb, you need to work together to get those moved and identified.
One question, are all the aprons going to be replaced?
Typically, we do a 3-foot cut behind the curb to limit the expense of the project. If an apron is completely gone, meaning that there's just nothing to meet up to, then we will do it. I will also say that numerous times I've worked with the contractor and also the property owner. So if the property owner wants to have their apron, they want to have their sidewalk, they want to have their driveway, you can typically get it done at a reduced cost. You just work it out. So the township pays our part, property owner pays their, and that it just enhances the entire neighborhood. It's a good way of getting some work done.
Is there a process for doing
Typically, just reach out to me. As soon as the project is awarded to whatever contractor, reach out to me and I'll work with the foreman and take it from there.
that? Great. Well, we know, if we just think about my front sidewalk, is there a way you can estimate how much your portion would be?
Is the sidewalk?
Sidewalk or apron, is there a way somebody can say, I can figure it's gonna be, $1,000 for me or $5,000 for me, do I wanna do it or not do it?
Yes. If you wanted to reach out to me individually, I could take the engineer's estimate and I can tell you what I've done as far as what I have appropriated for apron replacement, cost per linear foot,
Okay.
and then we could take your individual driveway and we could go
Okay,
from there.
cool.
Yes. That would be a pretty easy way to do it. Go ahead.
What's the typical size of an apron
It varies. I mean, you can have 15, you can have 15 feet. It really, it varies. 10, 15 feet would probably be a pretty good estimate.
You're not looking at the depth, you're looking at.
Yes, I'm looking at the width, yes, yes. It really boils down to square footage. And that, really, the way I did the engineer's estimate was based upon square footage. The contractor gets reimbursed for every square foot that they complete when it comes to aprons.
But you're saying you cut it at 3 feet.
Yes, so it's a 3-foot cut behind the curb. So what it'll matter is whether your apron's 10 feet wide, 15 feet wide, stuff like that. If it flares in, some aprons flare in, some aprons just go straight parallel or perpendicular to the sidewalk. It all depends on the construction of it.
So if you wanted the whole apron, you'd be paying for the extra 3, because it's about 3 feet more.
Yeah, it depending on what it is, yes, depending on where it is, yes. I mean, I don't know specifically, I don't have everything in here in front of me, but yes, some aprons are long, it just depends on what neighborhood. And so, but again, like I said, I'm happy to meet with you individually. I can give you a ballpark estimate in advance if people want a budget, stuff like that, which I get.
Can you have cuts made in the curb for drainage? We've got a French drain or?
Yes, I'm happy. What I would prefer to do, and again, we can talk after the meeting, or you can, like I said, I'll have business cards, we can meet privately. If you have a cut in the curb, you have a French drain, I would like to find a way to run it along the curb and get it into a catch basin. I'm gonna try to, and that'd be the other thing I get out there in the letter when we, right after the project's awarded. Anybody that has any sump pumps, anybody that has any drainage running out to the street, let's get it underground and get it funneled into a storm sewer, because that's quickly what deteriorates the pavement, is the freeze and thaw cycle of people's sump pumps, people's drainage going across the pavement.
So I know on Deerhorn, almost all the houses have the drains from the gutters that come out to the cast iron pipe, whatever, in the curb.
Mhm. Some of those will keep cut, anything that's, it's not, the ones that come from the gutter really aren't that big a deal, because as it dries up, so does the pavement. It's the people that have sump pumps, the sump pumps that are constantly pumping, and you get it 10, 15 degrees, like the weather we just went through, and we're constantly sending salt trucks around, because some pumps keep going, especially if you have some rain right before it gets cold. Some pumps keep going, and the ice just continues to build thicker and thicker, and causes the pavement to deteriorate. So, yes, if you have a sump pump, and that'll all be laid out in the letter that I sent as we get closer, but if you want to talk to me individually, I'm happy to do so. Any other questions? Yeah, so as far as your apron goes, I apologize, I don't have exact measurements, but I'm happy to meet with you and discuss it. Each area, neighborhood's different. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the election of officers for 2016 positions. We have, who's willing to come back? Is everybody open to come back to the position?
Yeah, but the positions are still open.
Yeah, there are some open positions, but if you would just,
They're all open.
all positions are open. There are people who are willing, who are doing the position now, are willing to come back. Vanita, you're with Communications.
Would like to.
Community activities, Linda's looking for community activities. Ed, you're still open for treasurer.
Yep.
Anna's looking for VP.
No present.
Stay put.
Stay put, yeah,
Yeah.
VP, right?
Yeah.
Okay. John, athletics.
Yeah.
And secretary. The positions that are open today for anybody who'd like to volunteer as president, athletic director, or are you going to officially go for the title?
Yeah.
And membership, do we have any others that are open?
Oh, did we want, well, I guess we never changed the bylaws, but, yeah, the senior position. That can be something under one of the other
Yeah,
groups
that could
too.
be under.
It's not,
Pool, we need a representative from Pool, you have to be here by the bylaws to be elected. So is anybody open to any of those positions, willing to step up? Volunteers? Names thrown in the hat?
I would like to volunteer for the president.
President position? And your name?
My name is James. Chelino, C-I-O-L-I-N-O.
CIO?
L-I-N-O.
Okay. Any others? Typically, it's done by ballot, but since we only have one per position and no opposing opponents trying to get a position, if we can go by vote, hand, all those willing to accept, and you have to be a member of the Civic Association to vote, let me just throw that out there first. Willing to accept the board as written, or have a nomination for that first? Everybody nominated? Do we have, willing to have a vote for those people? Everybody accept those people? Oh, well, I guess so.
I'll make a motion
Accept?
to accept the board.
Okay. All in favor? Board is set. As outgoing president, just president report, there's nothing that I have from the last month. So at this point, I guess I turn this over to James.
That's an interesting transition.
Thank you for serving as president.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah. Thanks. Okay. Hello, my name is James. I'm the new accountant president. And some of the things that I do hope to do now that I am president is, first of all, I hope that we can get our marketing back up in the community and welcome the 21st century with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and getting the rest of the community involved instead of just a sign that is out front instead of the baseball field. And I hope to build up the community a little more, clean it up, have more community events going on every month, hopefully try to get the kids out and involved. I would like to see kids on our street playing, riding their bikes, feeling free. Hopefully now we'll have safe paved roads and they'll be able to do that and not crash on the side of the road. And also try to build up some events for the younger generation community that is now growing in Pleasant Run Farms. That's all I have to say now, and I'll pass it over to the Vice President.
I did not attend the trustee meeting last month, or this month, because of the snow. That was the day that it snowed, so I don't have a report from the trustees.
Our treasurer, Mayor.
It's me. Reports I have here, the first page is the year-to-date, since January 1st. Beginning balance was $11,473.85. Income is $235 for memberships. That's 11 memberships, I guess. Expenses were $1,124.15. Big portion of that was insurance. We also had memo printing and the real estate taxes. So, leaving a balance at $10,584.70. The next page is the activity from, on the left, activity from November 20th, when the board last met through the end of the year. And then on the right is the full year's summary. So obviously during that November, December time period, luminaria was going on. We brought in $1,574 for luminaria. We paid out $1,002.34 for luminaria, provided John's got me all the receipts. And membership, we brought in $345, and memo advertising brought in $632.50, and memo printing was $30. So for the year then, we started the year with $3,822.15, brought in $24,154.30, spent $16,502.60, leaving our balance at the end of the year at $11,473.85. So, questions on that? All right. The next page would be the budgets. I don't know if we do that now or if that's new business. Do you know?
Continue, you're on a roll.
Go ahead and do it.
I'm on a roll, okay.
Yeah.
So, what we have is, on the front side, PRFCA proposed budget for 2016. Basically looking at the actuals from last year, subtracting out some anomalies like stuff that was from 14 that went into 15 and things along that lines. Basically come out with a budget of $13,200 of income and $13,200 of expenses, though there's $1,500 built in for savings for future projects, or, as I put it, tax surprises as we found this year. So, and that's that. Then below that is the athletics budget compared to their actuals. So basically, they're looking at baseball, t-ball, and softball being up an extra $1,000 in income. And the big expense increase is baseball, t-ball, softball, as well as field maintenance. And then they'll have a deficit this year, basically from having a excess the year before, so. And then on the reverse side is the pools budget, along with swim team. And basically, due to some expenses that they have to repair the pool, looks like they're looking at budgeting $4,420 deficit for repairs primarily. But they had a good year last year, so they were basically looking at that, I believe. So, or maybe that's what they had last year. No, sorry, that's what they had last year. This year they're budgeting, well, making $3,305. Sorry about that. So, since they've already done the repair last year in September, so. So I'd like to, I guess, make a motion to, A, discuss the budgets, and then B, to vote on the budgets.
I second that motion.
Any discussion on the budgets? Yes. That's for the month of November. For the year, the 4th of July was $105. Proposed budget for community activities. I got $105 for the parade, and I put $300 in for other activities that you might want to do, thinking that you wanted to do more. Yeah, though I think the cleanup the township should do, but well, they should do that too.
I think we'll look at that at our next meeting, because that's something I'm very actively wanting to seek out. Yes. So
We can gladly increase the community event budget if we feel that's necessary, and take it out as savings. We just have to make a motion at our own meetings to adjust it. But we can do it right now as well before we vote. We can change community events to 500 and savings to 1,300.
What's your proposed, you have a proposed budget?
Which is 100, plus 200 is $150.
Linda, I got a suggestion how you can get more revenue. You did Luminaria basically in just a few weeks this year. Okay, we thought about it, Civic Association, it was a late October meeting, I think. And we didn't do too bad for putting something together that people started ordering. We delivered flyers to all 1,500 homes here in the farms. We had approximately 200 kits that we put together and distributed in that short time frame. I think there's a good upside that we could do more this coming year. The Luminaria was a kickoff of wanting to do more within the Pleasant Run Farms neighborhood of some of the things that we thought did really well, okay? So maybe things such as an Easter egg hunt, or maybe things such as more activities at the pool on a weekend, or maybe things such as more of a 4th of July participation. We'll bring that out with us. We also talked about, perhaps adult softball or some adult golf or something like that. But I think that Luminaria has a shot at bringing in more people. Since we had 200 kids, we had approximately 170 homes. And then at the late minute, we also added the light up the farms, and we had about 18 houses that we selected as being the pride of the farms. And I think along with the landscaping contest, that is something else that we can do to help boost what we like to see about here in the farm. So I think you got upside potential. You have a lot of planning time between now and next December.
Right. Typically, though, community activities doesn't make money.
Do we need to give you a mic? I can't hear you, and I'm like 4 people away.
No,
It doesn't normally make money.
I swear, it's not a money-making.
That's not really a fundraiser, she's saying.
I don't even know what she's saying.
She's saying the Luminary doesn't make any funds, it's more
Luminary,
they pay
but
for
it's
what it
separate.
costs.
I think we made
The
some
other
money this year.
activities,
She's saying community
the other activities
Other
don't make
activities.
money.
It's not, doesn't raise.
You're an expense, you're telling me.
expense.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I really want to go for more community involvement, but I feel like that might be a discussion that we have on February 18th, and so therefore I'm going to make a motion to discuss community involvement at our February 18th meeting.
Okay.
So you get a second?
Second.
Okay. It's all in favor?
Aye.
All right, I did have one more question for you, though.
Yes.
So I noticed the Pleasant Run Farm budget for this, and field maintenance is noticed down here, and so then we're going to have an expense, but field maintenance is not ever noticed up here for revenue. Well, we don't make revenue, never mind. I
There you go.
corrected
That's
myself.
a good answer to that question.
Never mind. I looked
Quick
something up.
question.
Yes.
I'm looking under payroll taxes.
Yes.
Your actual is 3,200. Now you're only budgeting 2,000. Are you expecting to have fewer people?
No, actually, we had a catch-up on payroll expenses from the prior treasurer. So
Oh, here it is.
what we ended up paying this year was in excess. We were paying the last 5 years up, basically. So,
Gotcha.
so we don't have to do that this year. I do think their number might be a little low because they are increasing the pool is increasing. That's where all our payroll is. They are increasing their budget for lifeguards, but they did not increase their payroll taxes from the actuals just for this year. So I think it will come in low, but that's just a transfer over to us on the Civic side. Whatever their actual is, we will get, so.
I can understand small, but the amount you got in here is a large amount.
Right.
I mean, that's a big difference.
Yes, yes, it is. And that's why. And the payroll tax we received in last year was, we sent it in the September before, but again, it didn't get cashed until 2015 when I took over, so. So there was, like I said, incomes and expenses that were from prior years that ended up in last year's actuals, unfortunately. So. Does that make sense? So they paid it in September of 14, but it didn't get cashed until March of 15. Therefore, it's in the 15 numbers as an income, but it went into the expense of 14 for the pool, so, because that's when they paid it, but yeah, that's a good question. Anything else?
Are we in need of a motion to adopt the budget?
Yes.
I move we adopt the budget, the proposed budget for 2016.
Second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we'll hear from our secretary, Connie Pierce. Do you have anything to say?
This, PRFCA will again offer a $500 scholarship to a high school senior who's going on to college. The application is already available on our website. Submission deadline is at the end of March per instructions within the application. And Christina Norris, who has chaired this and been a secretary before and has chaired the scholarship before, is going to chair the scholarship for me this year because I have a high school senior and I'm forced to apply for the scholarship. So, any questions? Okay, we should have a winner then to announce at the April general meeting when we're all here again then.
So are you going to put that in the memo?
Yes, I sent it to you.
Did you send it already?
Yes.
I overlooked it, I apologize.
It's fine.
I will look it up.
If you don't have it for some reason, let me know.
Okay.
I'll send it to you again.
Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Now for our athletic director.
The start of the spring season has begun with registrations for baseball, t-ball, and softball. With a good chance we're going to have one, possibly two more teams than we had last spring. We'll probably have in the neighborhood of 13 teams among the three different sports. I'll be playing the games at Clifford George in the same associations we've been in for years, Northwest for the boys and the League Girls Southwest for the girls. So the baseball commissioner has already had his initial kickoff meeting with prospective coaches. We've got a couple of holes to fill on a couple of teams, but that'll happen as registrations increase and he gets to see the parents firsthand of the teams as they form. We'll expect to have teams formed probably by the end of February with registrations, which at this moment are up a little ahead of last year's pace. Part of our expense increase is because we're going to try to put more kids in newer uniforms. Generally, our uniforms last 3 to 5 years. Some of the pants of some of the rowdier boys go through a little faster than that, but we try to do it at that time. And we'll be working with Springfield Township on a couple of ideas that we want on improving the fields. We have some ideas for you folks in the audience to participate. And from working on the fencing along the parking lot, which we want to reset and perhaps paint. And some runoff problems we have on the field too. But right now, things are looking pretty good. And in keeping in vogue with the new way of sign-ups, we do sign-ups, almost all registrations online. And once in a while, we get a paper form in, but it seems to be working pretty smoothly. So. We'll be participating once again in Kids Club, which is in conjunction with the Cincinnati Reds. We sell vouchers to games that are in June and in July. We got 4 different games, I believe. We have our vouchers in now. Last year we sold about 180. We're going to try to do that many or more this year. And for each $12 voucher that we sell, which gets you a ticket into the game, $10 comes back to the organization. So it helps quite a bit in our paying for all the baseballs, softballs, and equipment, and some of the uniforms that we order year in and year out. So it's been a nice fundraiser for the whole sports organization, baseball and softball.
And we're also doing the pitch, hit, and run again this year on May 1st.
Pitch hit and run is for kids in any area who can demonstrate their skills in pitching, which are running the bases from second to home, and hitting on a straight line out towards center field. And Ed Mayer has masterminded that since he was about 12, and has been intends to do it this year again. And the neat thing about that is last year, he also got a pitch in to do the regionals. So we had people who come, who not only won our district, but then a couple of weeks later, came in from other areas to see our fields and participate once again. So, it's a nice activity. Over to you.
Okay, now the communications report.
Communication. It's time for the February memo. February memo is an electronic format distribution, so it gets emailed to all members of the Civic Association. I need ads and articles no later than this Saturday, the 30th, so that they can be included in the memo for February. And the date for distribution will be February the 6th, the weekend of the 6th. The emails will go out, and the hard copies as requested will go out for the memo. I've received a few articles and at least one ad, maybe two, already for the February memo. And also wanted to mention that we did decide to change the distribution, the full distribution months to March and September. So our next hard copy distribution will be March of the memo to the entire president. That's all I have. Yeah.
And our membership is still open if anyone wants to take that position. Anyone in the crowd want to run for membership? No? Okay.
Linda can probably talk to it for now. She's the outgoing membership, so.
Okay. So, do you have anything to say
Or
about
you can
membership?
tell me and I'll.
Yeah.
And you'll say
That
it.
speaks for you.
Because we can't hear her.
60 members for 2016 so far. All cards have been mailed out.
That's no good.
And that's all for membership. Any questions? The database is all up to
60
date.
out of 1,500 homes?
Yes.
Where did we end with 2015? How many members for 2015?
How many? 156, wow. 156 last year.
Does that conclude membership? Okay, and now I'm going back to you for community activities.
First event's the garage sale. Third Saturday in March. That's early. Isn't that Easter? Might be a good time. Who knows? All advertising will be online and in next door. Plus, everything that James is setting up. Great American Cleanup. We like to hold it in April. For some reason, the township likes to hold it in May, when all the growth is already grown up.
By the way, Linda, we spoke with Mike and Kim on that subject earlier this week, and I mentioned how our baseball team usually has a kickoff on the weekend before, or the week before we start playing baseball. Okay? So let's say that with Easter being the end of March, last Sunday, I believe in March, we might start the baseball season that first Saturday in April, whatever that is. If so, we probably would have a cleanup at the fields on Thursday, okay? Where I try to get out coaches and adults,
Like March 31st.
in March,
31st.
okay? On the 31st of March?
That would be
okay,
Thursday.
as a target date. And Kim said if that's good, then we could do a Great American at the same time, and we could get any assistance perhaps out of the township that you were looking for. Okay? There's a thought.
On Thursday. Well, the kids are probably off.
All I was gonna add, the township's not gonna have a big township-wide Great American cleanup.
Okay.
It's actually gonna be left up into the individual communities
Okay.
to do their own event, and we will coordinate, or Kim, not we, Kim will coordinate and any assistance that we can provide them service for.
Great.
So there's not gonna be a big township-wide event.
Mulch, we want mulch, not t-shirts.
Yeah, well,
Go the right way here.
T-shirts, I would follow up with Kim on that stuff, and then I'll send her a text after this. But let's connect, make sure I have your contact information, I'll pass them on.
All right.
so we're proposing late March.
And these are all proposed dates, right? Okay.
So the cleanup, or the garage sale should be good, because you said it's Easter's,
Easter's the 27th of March.
okay, so the 21st should be, or whatever. yeah.
21st is a Monday, oh,
Or
what did
whatever
you say,
that-
third weekend?
Third Saturday.
19th.
19th. So garage sales, March 19th, proposed. And the cleanup right now is proposed for March 31st or April 2nd.
As soon as we know when baseball kicks off, we'll let you know.
Or, I'm thinking if it's that Saturday, we do it before your stuff, but if we're gonna be cleaning up the property, but we'll see. Okay.
For your garage sale, if it's, is it the 19th that you mentioned, if it rains that day, what happens? Pardon me?
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine.
You don't roll into the next weekend?
Well, then you got Easter coming up then, but, so, but would it go 2 weeks later?
How many people shop in the rain?
Yeah,
Not many.
would it go 2 weeks later?
Not many at all.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be worth dragging their stuff out.
Right.
Do something like that.
We'll discuss that at our meeting and get it out into the memo. That's a good point. In the past, it's been May, yes. It's been
That
Mother's
will
Day
definitely
weekend
be
in the
discussed at
past.
the meeting. And there will be proposed rain date as well, because I do not approve of shopping in the rain.
You got more?
I'm with you on that.
You got more? Landscape contest, the whole month of June. Winners announced at the July 4th parade. And there'll be a parade, and there'll be luminaries, and then whatever other ideas James has.
Fireworks. Sorry. That's expensive.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, and then if Erin Knox wants to speak about the pool,
She isn't here, but she did give us a report.
okay, I'm sure you can speak on her behalf.
I'm good at that, I guess. So they did turn in their budget, which we went over before and voted on. So it says currently Aaron Knox and Susan Shive will be the pool board representatives. Beth is stepping down, as well as Melissa, the treasurer, is stepping down. So if anyone wants to be the treasurer of the pool, please get a hold of one of us, or Aaron Knox, or Susan Shive. Lexi O'Connor is the swim team rep for this year. So she's also on the pool board. Those two are merged together into one, since they have to work together every day. So, budget reflects almost $9,000 in repairs that were made to the pool last fall. These repairs were necessary to open the pool for the 2016 season. Swim teams assisting with these costs. Still have the gate issue to clear up. It has to close and latch. You can't just leave it open per the Hamilton County Board. So that's something we'll have to work on. If anybody's got expertise there, let us know. waiting on application information from the Springfield Township for the neighborhood grant. There is the money in the budget for 2016 that we can apply for. We have several quotes, ideas pending the funds to improve the pool there. Lifeguard apps will be available in March. Currently, I've reached out to all staff from last year and are assessing our needs for this year. And the pool is scheduled to open on May 28th. We'll be open on weekends until school is out. And we are working on what will be the schedule later in the summer as Northwest returns to school very early this fall. And of course, memberships are available at any time on the website, and we currently have the payment plan option available. So if you go onto the website, pleasantrunfarms.org, and go to swim club, you'll see some where, actually it's probably just under pleasantrunfarms.org. There's probably a link there to join the Civic Association as well as the pool. So, and that's it.
Okay. Is there any old business that anyone would like to bring up? Is there any new business anyone would like to bring up? Yes.
Are there any, or is there any assistance or funding that Springfield Township would give the farms to beautify the main entrances into the farms?
With the neighborhood grant, maybe Anna wants to talk to it, but with the neighborhood grant, there is a possibility to apply for that type of improvement as well.
Is there anything that the township will do aside from that with shrubbery plantings? I look at the intersection of Kemper and Mill, and on the southeast side of that area, we've lived here a long time, and that used to be a gravel area. People would park cars there occasionally. It was always really terrible looking. And, some years ago, I assume it's Forest Park, who came in and landscaped that area and really just totally changed the whole feel of that intersection.
Yeah.
And when
I'm
I
thinking
drive into-
ODOT did that, but that's fine.
When I go into the farms, I don't feel like we have nice entrances to our community anymore. It used to look a lot better than it does today. And I think for home values, if people want to sell, that's an important part. And having the streets redone is going to be a major part for that. But I think we look a little derelict right now.
I'll speak to that. I had a meeting with Kim and Mike earlier this week, and we talked about their vision, Springfield Township's strong vision for their parks. As you know, they've got approximately 9 or 10 parks or more in Springfield Township. So they want to present to trustees their state of the parks as they are, and perhaps going forward, what they're looking to as a 5-year plan, okay? Now, Clifford George, and so I was discussing with them about Pleasant Run Farms, and Clifford George in particular, and when we take a look compared to the other parks, Clifford George has a couple of things that the other ones don't. One is, it's got a high visibility because of your long Mill Road. You get a lot of traffic coming up and down there. Secondly, we have a lot of people with homes close by who can easily walk up there. And we're one of the few, maybe the only one, that's got a concession stand with real bathrooms and such. So they offered, again, as part of our Great American Cleanup, and Mike had some ideas on, starting with where our flagpole is, okay, maybe modifying that look to that entrance, okay? You certainly recall that, having been here, that we had those huge white walls entering off of Cedar Creek, I believe. I don't know if there were other ones, but there were those. This board also observed that a year or two ago, we used to have wooden signs that said, coming into Pleasant Run Farms, especially one over there coming off of Elkwood from John Gray, okay? And over time, it wore out and deteriorated. We elected not to replace it, because since then, they had put up 4 signs on each of the main streets saying Springfield Township Pleasant Run Farms. There's one on each one. So with and they have helped plant trees at Clifford George Park after previous, I think it was the pear trees, split because they got too big and such. So they already asked me what we would need. I said, well, 3 or 4 more trees, that, starting at 25 to 35 feet tall would be a great start, but that's probably a little ambitious. So we expect to see perhaps some more trees if that comes up. So yes, there are some ideas. However, if you have some additional thoughts on that, and that's what we have the Civic Association for, is what else would we like to do? What would we like to see get done? So we're certainly welcome to those activities. I'm not certain who that falls under, James, besides the president. But get a hold of him and we can chat with them and see where to go. I volunteered to take trees from some of these other parks that they're starting to overgrow. As long as they would move them and plant them.
I will let you know that during my presidency, that is one of my areas of focus that I would like to take care of within the next couple of years. If we can't get it done this year, we have it the next year, but, money works. But I do have lots of friends that are in the industry of beautification, and they work in nature parks and around the areas in the existing communities, and I would like to beautify our community, perhaps take a more focused concentration look at Clifford Park and its uses and what it could possibly be used for in the future.
Can I ask you what
Yes.
your field is? Can I spell your name again?
My name is James, and it's Chilino, C-I-O, oh, oh,
C.
C-I-O, L-I-N-O. I graduated college with a liberal arts degree, and I also have a focus, an associate's in arts. So I have fine arts and performing arts. Yes. I love the arts. I love to beautify and make things look more pretty.
Now, I think of picking up on that, if you're talking about how things might look a couple of years down the pike, one of the things we ought to keep in mind is there's a plan for this, for Welch, right? We voted in a new school, correct? We voted in a new bond issue, Northwest, so eventually this won't be a school. What happens to it?
You would love it as a center for
For
Civic
whom?
Center,
For whom?
for the farms.
For whom?
We have all kinds of stuff going on here.
Is it a daycare center?
Yeah, you could have it as senior center, daycare center,
Okay, when you s-
recreational center. You can make it into a lot of stuff. This is a great place.
Okay, when you say that, remember, we've got maintenance, you've got
I know.
utilities, you've got church, you got people who's gonna do it,
Yeah,
so,
but that would really improve the area. That
So
would
it
make
will-
this a very active place.
and I don't know
Might
how,
have
they
a
got
lot
us,
of
I
people
know that
moving.
Springfield Township has a seniors center, I don't know how busy it is or activities,
Not
but,
close though.
so if it is that, then someone else will step up to the plate and start being part of a team to bend the ear of Northwest, I guess, and see what
Well,
use can happen with
I don't
Northwest.
know. I was told that if the school doesn't take it, it goes to the charter school for
It's
$1,
available.
for $1.
Yeah, they got rid of that rule fortunately,
Good.
a few years ago, so that the charter school now has to buy it at market value, but they do get first right to buy it.
What's the market value of the school?
I have no idea, a couple million maybe, 10 million, I don't
So
know.
it's not gonna happen.
I wouldn't, I don't know
Again,
many
if they
charters
don't buy
that
it,
have that kind of
we're
money.
told it would just get torn down.
And that's the
Maybe
most
the
likely
best-
case. If nobody buys it, they said they will tear it down and then put it out for bid even.
It may be fine if it gets torn down, and then we could just make it a park if we choose to buy it with Pleasant Run Farms, because more greenery never hurts.
But when you're trying to make money in the farms, this is a enclosed building to have events in to make money in the farms.
Yes, it is.
Everything else you've come up with is outside events. If it rains, it spoils it all.
Yep. Does anyone else have something to say at all?
Oh, I have one thing to say about streets again. Some gentlemen were repairing potholes on my street not long ago, and I stopped to thank them. And they encouraged me to inform them, whenever I see a pothole, to call them, that they want to come out and repair those so that there is no damage done to our cars. And I would like to put something in the memo to remind people, give them the number. I'll talk to you about that.
Okay.
The number to call if you have a pothole in front of your house, because I see potholes right now. And I've called about other people's streets. I don't mind doing that, but I think the Good Neighbor Corner could remind people to take charge of that, be a little more proactive.
And then we did have one old business, I guess, because under new business, we had, suggestion was made to bring a senior citizen from the farms onto the board as an advisory position, to be a presence on the board for this segment of the community and a liaison back to the seniors of PRF. So I don't know if we want to do that at this meeting or.
Well, I will talk to some of the people I encouraged to join the Civic Association to see if they would be interested in that.
Okay.
Because I do feel like we should have something that we offer seniors. I think it's great for the athletics, and I think it's great for the pool, but we have a lot of seniors living here, and the demographics have changed, and I would like to see somebody represent them, or us, to have some more activities, at least maybe 2 activities a year for seniors.
Any other old business? No? Somebody on the board have any more announcements to make? No? No? Does anyone in the crowd wish to make any announcements?
We were talking about next door.
Good. Okay.
That's a good thing to go to.
Okay, my last announcement is I will be staying after the meeting. I wish my board to stay in conclusion so I can write down all of your information. If anyone in the crowd would like my information to get a hold of me directly, I would be willing to give it out after the meeting. Okay. Would anyone like to make an motion?
I make a motion we close.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.